was even stronger on Twitter, tweeting, quote, "We must always have the backs of our allies if we expect them to have our back. The Kurds were instrumental in our successful fight against ISIS in Syria. Leaving them to die is a big mistake. Hashtag Turkey is not our friend." Joining me now, retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters, military strategist and author. Colonel Peters, you just heard the president say that late today that he's, quote, not siding with anybody, and he claims he told Turkey's president Erdogan that there'd be, quote, trouble if anything, quote, outside of what we think is humane happens. Can the Kurds count on that?
No, of course not. And the president, unfortunately, it lies like a little boy caught stealing from his mom's purse. When you would unilaterally withdraw the U.S. forces, the tripwire forces, protecting the best allies we have ever had in the Middle East outside of Israel, at the behest of an Islamist despot who despises the United States and wants to slaughter our best allies, then I'd say you're taking sides, Anderson.
The president tweeted today, in part, as I've stated strongly before, and just to reiterate, if Turkey does anything that I, in my great and unmatched wisdom, consider to be off limits, I will totally destroy and obliterate the economy of Turkey. I've done before. I mean, how do you even respond to that? The idea that, I don't know if anybody who actually does have great and unmatched wisdom ever saying they have great and unmatched wisdom.
I feel like we're on Saturday Night Live, but my God, in my unmatched wisdom, you can't believe the word Trump says. And he was surprised by the backblast. I mean, clearly, on a phone call, Trump lives in the moment. Erdogan conned him. Trump did what Erdogan told him to do, convinced it was the right thing to do, was shocked by the backblast, even from Republicans who amazingly found some spine on this. And now he's waffling, backtracking. He doesn't want to leave the forces there because then it looks like he folded. And I think right now, while the Kurds are under great threat, Trump doesn't know what to do. And my concern is that Erdogan, who's just been itching to kill the Kurds, to just slaughter them, may move pretty quickly.
It also, the message it sends to other nations or other groups who might, in the future, that the U.S. might need to work with.
Trump has consistently attacked our allies, great and small, from NATO to the Kurds. At the same time, he has repeatedly and enthusiastically embraced despots, Kim Jong-un, Erdogan of Turkey, al-Sisi in Egypt, President Xi with that on and off relationship, and let us not forget Vladimir Putin, whose birthday it is today, and who is set to profit greatly from the U.S. abandonment of the Kurds. First of all, the Syrian government, Russia's client, and the Iranians are also ready to pounce, not just the Turks. The Kurds may be forced, as we abandon them, if Trump lives up to this and does that, they may be forced into the arms of Iran, for God's sakes, and the Russians. So with his impulsive idiocy last night, Trump has endangered not just the Kurds, but the progress made against ISIS, and in fact, the entire region. It's amazing that so small a gesture to Trump could have world-shaking reverberations.
Also criticism from, as you noted, it was, I don't know if it was surprising, but for GOP, which has pretty much remained silent on saying anything negative about President Trump, you did have Lindsey Graham, who's become one of, Trump's biggest, boosters, and Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, obviously a strong supporter of the president, at least publicly, quickly calling him to reverse his decision.
Well, I think what you're seeing, Anderson, is schizophrenia on Capitol Hill in the Senate, the Republican Party, whereas they are still committed to American security, and so they'll go after Trump on this, but they still don't seem to be committed to the Constitution to which they took their oath. When it comes to the Constitution and Trump's violations, they're still willing to condone it. And one would hope that at some point, more and more Republicans will get the backbone and realize that at the end of their lives, it's not going to matter how rich they are. It's not going to matter how many times they were reelected. What will matter is, as for all of us, Did they do the right thing for their country? Did they do the honorable thing? Even apart from illegality, did they behave ethically and morally? And so far, the answer is a resounding no.
Colonel Peters, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, just had my conversation with Beto